Hi, I'm Andrew Lewin, founder of SpeakUpForBlue.com, and welcome to another episode of Speak Up for Blue TV. This is where we support the ocean conservation movement, or as I like to call it, the Blue Movement. It's where we change the world, people, one conservation initiative at a time. I like to talk about different issues, ocean conservation initiatives, ocean leaders that are around the world trying to make our oceans better. The key is we want to save our oceans, and we have to do it together. So today I'd like to take on and talk about the issue of shark fin soup. Now before I talk about the issue, I just want to tell you a little bit of a story how I got introduced to shark fin soup. And to me it was sort of an emotional thing. I'll tell you right now. I was with my wife. We were at a banquet. It was a Chinese wedding, about 100, 200 people. I don't remember how many people. There were a number of courses throughout the evening. One of the courses was shark fin soup. Now, I had never really seen shark fin soup, in person. I never wanted to. But here it is sitting in front of me. And this is the time, just to put it in context, this is the time my wife and I, we had just watched Shark Water a couple of months beforehand. So we were aware of the issue and what was going on. It wasn't that big at the time. It was a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It wasn't that big at the time in the media. There wasn't a push to ban shark fin soup like there is today. But it was there, and people were starting to recognize it. So here I am at this table watching people devour shark fin soup, and the bowl that it came in could probably feed 10 to 12 people twice over. And that's how big the tables were. And people were loving it. They were going back and forth. They kept grabbing seconds and thirds and fourths and everything. And I have to admit, I'm usually not, I'm usually pretty passive, especially when it comes to food. I like to try different things. But because I knew what was going on, I knew about shark fin soup, I knew about finning and how brutal it was and how it was decimating the population, I decided there's no way I'm having this. And I actually got enraged. Not that enraged at the people. The people that I was sitting at were very nice. I was enraged at the fact that there were so many fins in this one bowl of soup, and then you add that to all the other tables that were around there. You're looking at 10, maybe 20 tables of about 10 people each. I mean, it was ridiculous, and it made me enraged. I had to actually get up. Told my wife, I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna leave because I need a timeout. Because I was gonna go crazy. I came back later on after the dish was done being served, and I just we were talking about it with people, and the people at the table didn't really know what the issue was. We introduced the issue, and I don't know them, so I never really saw them again. But hopefully that changed their mind. Me introducing the issue. But this brings me to the point of I'm really happy that I see shark fin soup being banned in a number of cities in North America, Canada and U.S. included. Toronto is one, Vancouver is being introduced, Brantford, Ontario, which is a small town in Ontario, just down the street from where I live. And then you've got San Francisco in the States, all with fairly big Asian populations, especially Chinese populations, that are the ones who eat shark fin soup. That's in their culture. And I just, we all know it's a status symbol. They don't do it for the taste. The documentary Shark Water and the documentary by Chef Ramsay called Shark Bait prove that it's not for the taste. It's for the status. So knowing that, we know it's not for taste, we know it's for status, it's almost like a sign of respect for guests when you have shark fin soup. It's expensive, so it's a sign of respect to your guests. It's almost like equivalent to us buying a nice bottle of wine at a table with friends to show them respect and whatnot by buying an expensive bottle. So what I was thinking about is yes, we're seeing all these bans in Toronto and about hopefully we're about to see it in Vancouver and San Francisco and whatnot. But is that sufficient? And it's not sufficient. I mean, it's a pretty simple question, because who eats this shark fin soup? And it's a lot of Chinese people eat this shark. It's the Chinese culture. It's in the Chinese culture. And I mean, maybe other Asian cultures, I'm not sure. But there's almost 1 billion people in China. And, a few years ago, or even 10 years ago, shark fin soup was not that big of a problem because it was only affordable to a certain amount of people. But now, as the economy grows in China, more people can afford shark fin soup and more luxuries. They want to show signs of respect to their friends that they can afford this and everything. So now they're starting to eat it. So you're getting 500 million, 800 million people able to afford shark fin soup, or possibly anyway. Now that's a real problem, and that's where we're going to see the shark populations dwindle. That's where we have seen the shark populations dwindle. So the question that I have to you today, because I don't know the answer, is how do we stop shark fin soup to be eaten around the world as it is decimating the shark population? It's just to save the shark population. Let's put aside the brutal way that the sharks are finned and that they're killed. Let's look at the shark population in general and what it does to the ocean environment. How do we stop the shark population from being decimated? And how do we stop almost a billion, potentially billion people in China stop eating the shark fin soup? So that's my question to you today. How do you think we could stop the Chinese country, China, essentially China, to stop them from eating shark fin soup? That's the question. Put your answers down in the comments below. I really want to hear from you guys on this issue. It is a huge issue around the world. We're in North America anyway, and in Europe. So let's talk about it. Let's start talking about a bigger push to maybe even ban finning in a lot of countries. I know Canada allows it to a certain extent. The U.S. has come out with some legislation to stop it. And I'll give you some information on the links below in the YouTube description. But yeah, how do we stop it? That's the question I ask you. Let's start discussing this. It doesn't matter if you think your idea is way out there. I want to hear from you guys. It's really important that we hear from you guys. And if you like the video, add a like, add a favorite, share the video as much as possible. I want to start this discussion on a worldwide scale, international scale. So keep up this discussion, and I look forward to interacting with you. And until the next time, I'm Andrew Lewin, speaking up from the ocean, which is saying we need to protect our oceans by protecting our sharks. See you later.